is that not working? Never mind.
Are you hitting the button or what?
Almost. Yeah. These days it takes like a couple of attempts to... you've got to get that preview window going before you can go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, yeah. Well, we are streaming now, finally. Good afternoon, good evening, good
Yay.
night, good now. This is Darrell as a service. And Daniel sandwiching his
Hi.
mouth, Glenn. It's lunchtime there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's get on with it. Are we back to normality, Daniel? Like, there was
What?
me on
What's
my own last week. There was
yes?
a couple of weeks where I wasn't with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we are back to normal. Although, what's normal?
Well,
I,
normal kind of came in the weekend here in New Zealand and finally said, "Here's winter. Come on in." Which
nice.
is why in my lovely office where it's not insulated, I think my daughter's still got the space heater sitting in her bedroom, so it's
Okay.
cold this morning. I've got a few more layers.
But we're here and we
Yeah.
are live and we are going to knock it out of the park today.
Well, yeah. I mean, we do our best to knock it out and swing. We've got Joanne Klein joining us, Stephen Collier, Suzanne Hunt, Sandy Usia, Phil Worrell. There's the roll call. Hello, everyone.
Incredible.
Act normal, everybody. All right, thanks, Joe. Um, yeah, freeze. Yeah, today we do have. I guess we've had a few weeks where there's been a ton of updates, and it's
Yes.
been a struggle to get through and address them all. And it's kind of weird. Like we usually have this standard where we don't. We say we're not going to try and address them all, but we actually do. We want to focus on a few. This week they've made it a bit easier for us, even though it has been after SPC, so SharePoint
Mm-hmm.
conference, and a few things arriving. But I see something here that landed this morning, and we'll address it at the end of the show. That is directly related to what was announced at SharePoint conference.
Okay. Yes.
Shall we get on with it?
I hope so.
Oh, we'll put our faces over there. Well, that'll do. We've got this interesting one here to start with. About trying to make it easy for us to make decisions about whether we should read a document or not, whether it's the right document, how long it might take for us to read. There's the document cards, Daniel, when you're like
Mm-hmm.
presenting them within what's changed, like your activity web part,
Right.
sometimes in delve kind of situations where it's
Mm-hmm.
presenting stuff that might be interesting to you.
Right.
There's a bit more to it on the card now.
Right. And I'm hoping this also can show up in libraries as well. Some of this information. I know it has to do with the file card right now,
Yep.
but when you go into a document library and select a document,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see some of this information too. But sorry, I'm talking about what we don't have and what we do instead of what we do. So let's focus on what we do
What we
here.
do have,
Yeah.
is we have first of all time to read, which is a thing that's been quite useful for blog posts, articles.
Yes.
Don't know if we've got it on pages yet, but definitely here we go. We're still going. We would like it in here, and here, but it is going to
Right.
be on Word documents to start with, a docx format, where you'll see this document will take you on average 10 minutes to read.
Right.
I'd find that useful.
Yes. We just keep in mind though, it's not. This is not some sort of someone's not sitting there reading it and then putting it in there. This is
No.
machine learning guessing as
Yeah.
to how long it'll take. I mean, that's really what it is, right?
Because I'm always below the average. Well, in this case, I'm always above the average. Where it'll say
Yeah.
10 minutes. I get distracted. It'll probably take me 15. Yep. But this is not confessions about reading skills and concentration spans.
No.
But it's like one thing about this capability, this feature, is that it's going to help
Hmm.
you decide roughly how much time do I need to make my way through and do this document justice.
Right.
So I like that I can look at something and say, if I wanted to read this in full, I probably should give 15 minutes. Maybe I could synchronize it to my device, open it up and read it on the train. Or I've got like half an hour to prepare for my meeting. I can read this document that someone's attached, and it's going to take me 10 minutes. So I should plan for a 30-minute buffer.
Right. Exactly. And remember, it's just a guide to help you try to understand, just like you were saying, do I have time to read this or not right now? How long do I need to allot
Yeah.
myself to read it? So, yep.
The other bit's quite interesting. That apart from time to read, that at a glance, somehow AI grabs key sentences from the document to put on the
Right.
file card and say, "You should be reading it because of this great quote," or
Well,
this is the gist of what this document is about." How does it do that?
well, I'm thinking that it's using headers. So, and possibly, if you're using bullet points or something like that. So, I think that's how it's going to pull stuff out
Hmm.
is um, the how you're highlighting content within the document. But it will be interesting to see how it does that. I'm guessing here, so I don't know exactly, but I would think that's how it's doing it. Um, the one thing I wanted to kind of mention about this one is though it doesn't have to really do with the feature in itself, but the information that we have about the feature. So this is something that was announced, and we're seeing this saying, okay, this is going to be released, and they're saying it's going to be rolling out early June, which ta-da, here we are, early June, and by the end of July. But if you um, go to the information on the roadmap,
Mm.
it is listed as in development and released in Q4 of the calendar year 2019. When it says calendar year 2019, that is October, November, December, but they're releasing it in summer. So I think that's kind of interesting. Just
Hmm.
wanted to point that out, that the roadmap and the admin center are not synced there with when the feature is going to be released.
All right. Oh yeah, I always get a little mixed up with the whole Q4. Is it your financial year or your calendar year? But
Yeah,
CY calendar year. Yeah,
that's
for your
right. Yeah,
financial year.
Microsoft's financial year does run through June. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure. They have a July 1 start of but this is not financial year. This is calendar year.
Feels
So
like a typo, doesn't it? Like, because this is Q4 for financial year.
maybe
No,
it's a
actually, it's
typo, or
not.
maybe
No,
they're
it
just releasing it.
wouldn't be quarter four for financial year of 2019.
Maybe I don't want to get hung up on this, Darrell. I just want to
You
say
brought it up. Come on, man. All right, yeah,
I
but fair
think
enough.
it's just early, and that's good. Hey, I'm great. I'm happy about getting features earlier than they had planned. But
Yeah.
so anyway, just wanted to mention that.
Hey,
That's
come
it.
on, Darrell. Don't pick a fight. um, and next update. Search box changes in
Mm,
modern experiences. Um, like this feels like it's a minor update. It's the shifting of a search box.
hmm
That it's for modern pages. It's going to be now at the top of the page and in the middle and kind of a header bar, and it's also going to be shifted for the here's a change, just a name. We all knew it as the SharePoint homepage. Now it's going to be called the SharePoint Start page. The one that you hit the SharePoint icon and it comes up with the frequent sites, the
Yep.
followed sites, stuff like that, news stories that you have access to and might be of interest. That's called the Start page. But back to the search box, that's moved, and that, while it's a minor change, is heralded in another a big deal. What's coming?
Yeah, and I think for especially for those that design pages and those as well that train users, it's kind of a big deal because things are moving.
Mm.
And it's in that space, let's be honest, most people don't pay attention to. Um, that top middle section which has served really no functional purpose before. It had one purpose, which was branding. And then Microsoft gave you the ability to put your, with your branding there, to be able to click it and take it to your home site, to your home intranet site. That was great, but it really had no other purpose. And now we're moving the search box from its typical location all the way up there. And I like it. I like because it's, again, we talk about this all the time. I like things to be consistent, and here we are. We're going to be consistent with across the platform, not only the start page, as you've put it, the SharePoint start, but also your SharePoint sites, your Office apps in web apps, your Office apps on your desktop.
Yep.
They're all going to be that search experience, and I like it. It's very consistent. But I do think it's a big enough change that it does warrant this, because it's not just a location. It's number one, I think it would warrant this even if it was location, Darrell. But two is the functionality, right? This is bringing additional functionality that I don't think people are paying attention to. And it's bringing this, I can't remember the term. I don't know, can you remember the term of this drop down before you even start searching? It highlights content for you that you may be looking for because it's stuff that you've used frequently, right?
Yeah.
The preview of your sites and files and all that.
Yeah. That's what I believe is beginning to replace the need to go to a delve page. It's presenting stuff to you in the first click before you even type stuff. Here's some people you've connected with. You see on the example here, here's a news page and some files and some sites that you frequent. This is Microsoft Search coming, and while it's not everything's turned on yet, rightly said, the advantage here is that with the search box being in the same place, if I can coin this, let's see if we can get this to spread. You don't have to search for search. You see what I'm doing there? When we would go to a page, search was over on the left, sometimes it's over on the right, sometimes it's up and down here. It's tucked away behind something in Office. Now, wherever you are, search is where it always will be. It'll be in the header of the application.
Search is where it'll always be.
Will always be, yeah. So you don't have to search for search. It's in the header of an application.
You know where you are, Darrell?
Oh, I know where I am. I don't have to search for that.
You are where you are.
I am where I am. That's right. We are where we are. It is what it is, dude.
I just thought that was funny. But to your point, though, Joanne says in the chat room, and this is something that we have seen previously, but she says her search box has been bouncing all over the place while it's being rolled out. So I would not be surprised for those, especially that are on targeted release. And when they start rolling out, they've sometimes rolled things back and then rolled them out again because something happened when they did the rollout. So it is possible that things will move around. But I do, I like the consistency. I mean, yep. It's going to be, I just like you're getting the point you're making. The search is always, where do I search? Hopefully that question won't be raised when we're working with sites and applications, Office applications. You don't need to ask where it is because it's going to be where it is.
Yeah. No, I know how silly that sounds, but if you want someone to benefit from search and benefit from Microsoft Search, look, and here's the other thing behind that. I know that's not the update we're talking about, but this is what it's positioning for, is that if we waste so much time finding stuff, the whole search conversation of, I need to find something. Where was it? Was it an email? Was it a Yammer conversation? Was it a team conversation? Did someone put it in a site? Did someone put it somewhere else? Mm-hmm. Because Microsoft Search unifies all that across all our communications platforms and where we're storing stuff, this is one of the big advantages of using a unified productivity tool. And, with search where it is, and knowing where it is, you're not having to search for search, it's right there. The other thing I want to see consistent is, I think it's in just the desktop applications. It might not be in the browser. It's Alt+Q, I think, that takes us to the search box. So it's that same hotkey to get yourself
Oh,
into the search box and starting to search. Try that out. Let me know if
okay.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being controversial, but I would like to see that consistency too for those who love shortcut keys. Shall we move on?
Yes.
All
It'll be
right.
wonderful.
Yes, he says. Oh, come on, please. um, updating capabilities for the SharePoint Admin Center. This is a big one, although it has been
It,
coming for a while.
yeah, and we've been talking about it for a while, but frankly, I've been kind of disappointed with the implementation of how they've been, well, the messaging that have how they've been talking about this. Because if you look at this, it is this post is more about, hey, it's coming, but we're bridging the gap.
Mm.
And I feel like what's been talked about a lot is, hey, the new admin center is just like the old one. Wrong. There's missing functionality. And so, especially when you talk about the term store and user profiles, I mean, there's missing functionality.
Yep.
So I like this post where it's like, okay, we're addressing these things,
Mm.
that they're coming. Great. But let's quit saying it's on parity. Let's quit saying mission accomplished. Let's quit saying it's not.
Yeah.
We're still having to switch back to classic because it's not all there. Um, and it's one of those that I think it'd be great to just put a link to all that stuff. Just give us a links list or something. I mean, so that we don't have to switch back to get to it. But anyway, I'll get back down off my soapbox. But that is, I'm glad to see that they're actually calling this out and have refrained from saying the same old. What a term came to my mind, but I don't think I should say it. Same old marketing story of it's on parody.
Ta-da!
So
Yeah.
anyway,
No, that's the thing. They say ta-da. They're like it's on parity. Same sort of thing
hmm
with Teams. It's on parity with Skype for business. It still isn't.
yeah,
But
exactly.
it's here we go. We open it all up. So going from classic to one place for the SharePoint administration. I mean, it is definitely an improved experience, and being able to manage things like groups and
Hubs.
teams and stuff, and seeing that in a column, and being able to
Yep.
quickly identify that, or selecting a few hub sites at the same
Yeah.
time and performing a bulk action. That's all important stuff. But yeah,
I,
like you
I
say,
totally agree. 100% agree with you, but it's not one place for the
yeah,
administration
see
yet.
all your sites. So I mean, all these lovely things here to say. Here we go. Take a look at this, brother. It's awesome. You got to learn about this. Although
Daryl.
I'd expect to have a link here to say, tell me more.
Right.
Next, what else? Find some classic features under here, mate. If you're looking for those, brother, they're just under here, mate. There you go. There's your tomb store. It's on parity. Oh, I'm making him lose his lunch. Lovely little bit of alliteration there. So back there, so
Yes.
there we go. Back into the tomb store, and here we go. But is this what the update is saying, that this tomb store will be modernized?
No.
No, just that you can access
Um,
them from the modern
yeah.
center.
So what it'll be is, basically what I was saying, a navigation to this.
Yep.
I think if I don't know what's been announced and what hasn't. I don't remember about all of that. But Turn Store is not going away.
Quite a few things there
Um,
that need links.
yes. So here, classic features. You click the link and you click open. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the gap that they've bridged there, was just
Yep.
this link list, but
Mm.
it's you have to click on the classic features. Anyway. Um, but will they modernize it? I would think so eventually, but not now, right?
No, no, no,
So,
no, no. Well, yeah. Anyway, we're good. We're
yep.
good. I'm sorry, Steve, and all those other POMs that have. Sorry, I shouldn't say POM. British
Wow.
Isle people who joined and are watching.
British Isle people.
Sorry,
Can
Motherland,
you just quit?
the Commonwealth.
Just stop talking. Just
Okay,
just move on.
UK. UK, okay, right. Uh, Android. Android apps. Put our faces on the other side of that announcement. Thanks, Darrell. The Android apps. This is a major or general update. Yeah, kinda. It's just saying everyone who's on really old versions of Android, these
Yeah,
apps won't be supported anymore.
yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry.
don't like
What have
this
we got?
one.
Office apps. So that's Outlook, um, Office mobile apps. Yeah, Office mobile apps for Android. Ending support for Android 4.x, 5.x.
What? That doesn't Google have a store, an app
Yeah,
store,
yeah,
where you can see updates about stuff?
like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't believe this belongs here. We don't get updates for iOS apps. I've never seen a hey, we're not supporting iOS version blah blah blah. I don't remember ever seeing one of those before. But they don't support. There's a version, I don't know. I don't I don't
I think
understand
where
this
it'd
one.
come become handy is, let's say you've got a fleet of Androids that you've issued to company phone, sort of company phone style. Um,
Right.
that
But
that
mm,
might be helpful because maybe you as an admin have been on the latest version of Android for some time, so you kind of don't care, don't look, and then and you're not going to get that announcement in your app store because you're on the modern version.
I know, but
And
what are you going to do about it?
I'm going to upgrade all their Android phones.
Are you?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's going to fix it.
I just don't, you're not. Yeah, and you give someone a device, um I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe is this any different than iOS? If someone gives me if my company gives me an iPhone for my
Yeah.
company phone, whose responsibility is it to upgrade it to iOS 12.3 or whatever we're on right now?
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to take it back into work and say, "Hey, this says it has an update on it. Update
Yep.
it for me."
Yeah. No, you're right.
I,
But I think that age of update for Android probably means that it's if they're still on there, then it is
right.
definitely old hardware. So it
Very,
indicates to you
yes, I agree.
that the phone is probably, well. Hey, there's the other thing. This is an
Okay.
update to say, hey, if you're using Office, oh no, cut it with the accents. I'm already slipping into one again.
Mm,
Don't it hold. If you're using Office on your Android, and that's important to you, then you should upgrade because it's not going to be supported soon. But if it's really important to you and you're using a version of
but shouldn't it
Android
be?
that's this old, you're probably not really a mobile worker. You probably, here's your company phone, and you keep it in your pocket and you hardly ever
Yes.
charge it because you hate carrying around two phones and you wish you had one with two SIMs, but that's the that's the flagship model. Um, yeah. Oh, so Steve's got a comment here. iPhones
But
tend
it could
to,
also be for
yeah,
yeah, so Steven said tend to upgrade to the next 3 or 4 versions. Android tends to get perhaps one or two.
yeah,
So maybe saying update cycle is a little different with support for apps. But I was just thinking about what about the way this might actually play into. We're concentrating on phones.
mm,
What about
tablets.
tablets? So that might be where this would come into a bigger play. Is
Do Android
you
still do
have a
tablets?
mobile, yeah, you have a mobile workforce in a factory or
Yeah.
frontline workers in your stores that have sales, whatever you have these devices that maybe aren't theirs, right? You have
Mm,
tablets that are part of your stores or are part of, when they get on their shift, they pick it up off the charger and go for it. So maybe that in that case, yes, I think, you would want to alert people that, hey, older versions of Android are not being supported anymore with these Office apps. I just feel like, are people not using iPads too to do that? I don't know. I'm looking for, I don't know. It doesn't
well, it's a
seem the
major
same.
update, I guess, and that's
Yeah.
that's your question: is why is it a major update when
Yeah.
other things have happened or happening that there could be
Right.
major updates?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well, good that
And
we're being told.
and I want to also mention last thing for this is it's in my tenant and I don't have any Android devices connecting to my tenant.
Hmm.
So
Oh
not
yeah.
targeted.
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Still updates that come on in there that are. not targeted, sometimes marketing, sometimes, well, we've got to tell everybody, and at least this'll get the message out.
Yep.
What are we finishing? Oh, we're not finishing on this because there were two that
No.
landed today.
Yes.
Password protected anyone links. All right. So when you share a document or file, let's generalize, and you're allowed to send anyone links so that it could be given to anyone. It
Right.
needs a password. So this is kind of that halfway point between I want to specify who it's going to. I'm sending it to Daniel, and he's got to sign in and get it. No, it's not that. The anyone link, we can send it out, and anyone can receive it, and then forward it on to anyone.
Yes.
We can set an expiry so that at least there's a 30-day or something less if you want. It'll stop working. Now we can send out passwords so that we don't know who's going to receive it, but at least they've got the password so they can access it. Huh? How does that work?
Yeah, and I think this is one of those where it's a little bit more secure in that you don't know if, for me, I wouldn't, if you're going to use this functionality, I wouldn't send the notification and the password on the same communication line.
No.
Right? Right? So, I mean, this may be where you're sharing a document with someone and you want to be sure,
because that's why it's anyone. Otherwise,
or it's a shared mailbox, or you can't guarantee it's not something that someone else won't look at, and so maybe you just really can't guarantee that as a person who sends it, right? You want to make sure, and so you text them the password to it or something. I'm really, Microsoft's usually pretty good about this, so I'm really hoping that they don't send the password at the same time as the sharing link. But I think that's, this is just kind of like a step up from sharing just with a person, right, and doing an expiry. It's also, I want to make sure it is you, so I'm going to send the link, and I don't care who it goes to as long as you get it too, and then I'll get you the password.
Yeah, the thing I'm having trouble understanding there is that the reason we send out an anyone link is so that anyone can open it. And if we send that link out or publish it, and yet we say you need a password to access it, why don't we just send it specifically to a person? Actually, it has occurred to me.
Because they have to be authentic.
Speak it out. Now that I'm talking to my IT psychiatrist and I'm lying on the couch and I'm saying, Daniel, and then you'd say, how does this make you feel? And so I start talking this problem out, and now it makes sense. because
I'm glad something about all this is making sense to you.
You just sit there with your pad and you're writing, right? So now that I'm talking it out, the scenario for me is that I'm sending that link out, or I'm publishing it, it's to anyone. I don't want to maintain this massive list of people that I want to share it to specifically, or massive list of groups that I'm trying to share it with specifically. I want to just send a link out. Could be 50,000 people, which are my anyone. They're not really anyone, but they are anyone. And I'll publish that password somewhere where everyone can get to it. And it's going to be wider than my org, of course, because we do have an option that says anyone in my org. So it's still a bit grey, but I can kind of see a scenario there which, doesn't do my head in.
Good. We're all about trying to find scenarios that don't do your head in.
Yeah, I'm
all
appreciative of that. Yeah, I mean, because the message center revolves around me. And
can I ask you something though, Darrell? Did you not have the update for Outlook for Windows 2016 before this one?
No.
Did
you? Tell me about it.
Well, it's MC181107, and it's update Outlook for Windows 2016 or later. So we're talking about the Outlook on the client on the desktop.
Yep.
To a modern authentication login experience.
Okay.
So if you remember now, with some of the older the Outlook clients, it is that login dialog that you would get with Windows generally, right?
Yep.
With anything that's trying to authenticate. And now moving to a new login experience that is the modern experience, the one that you recognize, which is you enter your username, you click the next button, it then asks you for a password,
Yeah.
and then it can take you through the multi-factor authentication.
That's
That
the
is
key
the big
part.
key here.
Yeah.
That's the huge key, is bringing those clients along so you can do multi-factor authentication. This pain in the rear is Skype for business.
Yeah.
Doing the same kind of authentication weirdness. And so you would often have to go in and create an application key and a password.
Yeah.
And then use that password, which is, this long, and paste that in there. And then you never see that password again, right? Well, this is going to eliminate that need. Begin rolling this out in early July, with completed by the end of August. And of course, there's nothing you need to do to prepare for this change. But you may
users that
you may consider updating your training and documentation. Also, talking to your help desk, those first line or those first level support folk. And you can disable the modern authentication if you want to via PowerShell. I wouldn't advise it, but if you want to, you can do that. There's an article on Enable Modern Authentication and Exchange Online that will give you information on how to disable it. So, but I would not suggest that.
So I'll answer you. No, I didn't have that one, but thank you. It's
You're welcome.
Probably going to turn up, and maybe this is again a targeted message there, where it's come into your data center before mine, so now you see it.
Now you see it.
A mixture of that experience. Moving further up. I think this is the one that we're finishing on here too today.
Yep.
This is a announcement that relates to an announcement from the SharePoint conference. If you're into creating live events, then you would have known that it doesn't matter what experience. Actually, no. If you want to create using Teams as your production environment, or you want to use Yammer as your production environment, in both cases, you were taken through to a Microsoft Teams meeting to create and to start and to schedule the live event, which kind of makes sense. It's an online meeting. You got all the scheduling capabilities there, but what is arriving is that if you are using the third-party encoder option for Yammer, where you're not using Teams as your production environment, you're not using it to create just those 3 basic scenes. You want to use OBS like we are now, or similar third-party encoders. Then you can just schedule the events without having to go into Teams, which is good. Like if you're an org that's not using Teams yet, but you want to make use of live events, or
and I saw this announced, and I was happy about this. This is a good thing, I think, because it's trying to meet you where you are, the way you want to do this. So I think it's all good. The one thing that I do want to mention is, what is up with this rogue quote at the end of Yammer?
Rogue quote.
Yeah, like, see the top right? It says, with live events in Yammer. Quote.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just sorry.
It's the new brand.
It's not very consistent, is it?
No, well, I mean, it's missing one, right? Because the Yammer was 3, not 2, and it's on the side, and I don't know. Yeah, I've seen it does lack consistency, Stephen. That's absolutely correct. We need to remove that.
I think that's 3 for you, and I think it's 4 for me, by the way. They're keeping count about how many times we say consistent. I have to go back over the scores. And you say
we
lack of
consistency. We need to gamify this, people. I know there's some
they already are.
We can bring in to this, and so you could like sign into something, and anyway, enough of that. I can't think right.
Enough of that, Darrell. Guess what I'm doing, Darrell?
What are you doing?
I am from Nashville, the home of Office 365 and SharePoint Saturday Nashville. It's coming up June 14th, so we're about a little more than, or June 15th, sorry. We're a week and a half and a few days, thankfully, uh, away from the event. It's going to be fantastic, and we have some fantastic speakers. So if you're in town in Nashville, please join us. Or surrounding areas. This is once a year event. So you can go to SPS, stands for SharePoint Saturday, spsnashville.org to find out all the information and to register for free. Yes, for free. So,
and that's a great price.
Yeah, it's a great price. So please join us. It's going to be fantastic. And I even got a new sponsor signed up this morning. So it's going to be great. We have great support, and we're going to rock it out. So
what's for lunch?
We're going to be doing, we're actually having a team meeting this afternoon in about an hour to talk about that. But I think it's going to be some fantastic chicken panini or wrap or something. It's going to be great.
Cool. And
we're going to have a vegetarian option as well. That last time we had this, people said it was even better than the meat option. So, it's going to be great. Oh. And giveaways. I mean, it's
giveaways too, definitely. Now, always SharePoint Saturdays are a fantastic community-driven event. And hats off to any organizer and board that's involved, because it is a huge task, but it's done out of love for the tech and the people, of course. Great. I don't think I've got anything massive to report there. You know, we don't have SharePoint Saturdays in the different states of New Zealand. Oh, we do have a Microsoft 365 Saturday.
Oh.
In different places, but anyway, I think. My comings and goings and events and stuff are on pause for a bit. But yeah, have a great event. And
we'll be talking before then, but yes, everybody sign up. Registrations are well over what they've been the past 2 years. We're over 25% higher than we have been in the previous years. So it's going to be a great event, and there's going to be lots of people there to enjoy the event with. So sign up.
Excellent. All right. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for those in the chat room. You know who you are. And thanks for all the fun comments.
You are who you are, and you are where you are.
You can search where you've searched for search. It is what it is. And that was the show, as it is what it is, and it was what it was. Bye for now.